Hi guys, I'm Eileen. So I've spoken a lot about pre-loved shopping on my channel, and I've received some questions asking the best luxury handbags to buy pre-loved and if I could recommend any reliable websites. So I thought I'll just compile everything into one video. In the past, I would buy everything brand new, first-hand from the store, but after doing luxury shopping for nearly a decade, I am now very open to pre-loved shopping. In today's climate, a lot of people are buying and selling on a regular basis, so I think it's absolutely possible to find a good deal. But the key, of course, is to do a lot of research and find a trustworthy website. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First of all, let's talk about Hermes. So I've done videos talking about my personal shopping experience at Hermes, and some of you mentioned you would not be interested in building a purchase history just to get a bag offer, which I can understand. So if you are only interested in Hermes handbags and nothing else from this brand, it might be a good idea to buy pre-loved. However, it's important to bear in mind that pre-loved prices for Hermes Birkin, Kelly and Constance handbags are often higher than retail prices, especially if the bag is in a very good condition. These might not sit well with some people, but it really just reflects the market demand, and that, in a way, will also help to retain the value of the handbag you might be interested in buying. Seeing these handbags are so expensive, it's crucial to buy from a reliable website. I personally recommend a website called SunLab. They are especially specialized in Hermes pieces. All their handbags are carefully inspected and selected. These include some of the very rare vintage pieces and special edition handbags. So if you are into collectible pieces, make sure to check them out. On their website, you will find very clear and high-resolution pictures showing every corner of each handbag, so you can be sure what you see is what you get. I also love that they use a very clear grading system to describe the handbag's exact condition. And as you can see, they even include very comprehensive information about how to look after your Hermes pieces, which I think is so thoughtful. In fact, I highly recommend taking a look at their website, even if you're not interested in buying anything, because there's so much useful information about luxury handbags, and I just really enjoy reading their articles. For those of you who are interested in selling your luxury handbags, SunLab offers a fantastic consignment service. So to get a preliminary offer, you will need to provide some key information about your handbag and include some pictures. SunLab will then arrange and fully insure the shipment. Their consignment commission is about 12 to 20%, which can be worth it if you don't want the hassle of selling the pieces yourself. I've sold quite a lot of items from my own collection before, and it can get a bit stressful. So sometimes it might be a good idea to let someone professional take over the job. Next, let's talk about Dior. I think Dior has really exquisite craftsmanship, but somehow their handbags don't tend to keep their values very well. In fact, even their classic collections, like the Lady Dior handbags, don't do very well on the second-hand market. Now, I know some people get a bit upset when I talk about resale values, which I can understand in a way, because why don't just keep things simple and buy the bags we love? While I personally don't buy bags with the intention of selling them for a profit in the future, I think it doesn't do any harm to have a good idea about resale values, because I can then decide if buying pre-loved is a good option. I think Dior is a perfect example, and if you're not someone who follows trend, you can easily find bags like Diorama, Diorissimo, and Lady Promenade flat bag at decent prices. From what I've seen, currently the Dior book totes are keeping their prices quite well, but this might change when and if the trend cools down, so it might be worth to watch the space if you're interested in getting one. Chanel is another luxury handbag brand I would consider buying pre-loved. Now, we all know Chanel has been increasing their prices quite drastically, so that has caused quite an inflation on the second-hand market as well. However, if you look at the Chanel Classic collections, the pre-loved prices are still quite a bit lower than retail prices, and this is even more so with the Chanel reissue flaps and boy flaps, probably due to the difference in market demand. Certain Chanel handbags can cost more on the second-hand market though. For example, the mini flaps in a very sought-after color like black, grey and dark beige. Unlike the Chanel Classic flaps, mini flaps are actually seasonal pieces. So depending on the collection, Chanel only launches these bags in certain colors and materials. And in the Chanel store, there's usually a very long waiting list for these bags. So all these factors will be reflected on the resale values. Luckily, this is not always the case with all Chanel seasonal pieces because I've come across some seasonal flat bags and camera bags on the second-hand market with very decent pricing. A while ago, a subscriber told me she got the Chanel Easy Flat Bag at £1,800 from the NPN website, which is another website I recommended a while ago. This bag has been discontinued for years, but it's a lovely bag and the perfect alternative if you're not strictly looking for the Chanel mini flap. And talking about Chanel, I know a lot of people love their vintage pieces. And to be fair, their classic flaps used to have gold-plated hardware and the quality was a lot more substantial. So I think compared to the current jumbo flap, a Chanel jumbo flap with gold-plated hardware and a single flap is a lot more appealing. So if you are a vintage lover, pre-loved shopping is really the only way to go. Another luxury brand worth looking into if you're interested in buying pre-loved is Bottega Veneta. I think Bottega is all about simplicity and understated luxury. All their handbags don't show any logo, which is so refreshing in the handbag industry. Their signature design is the intricato, which is the weaving of leather. This design is used in most of their handbag collections, and I just love how they always keep their handbags looking very simple, but let the leather be the showstopper. In the UK, you can actually find a Bottega outlet store in Bicester Village near Oxford, but the handbag selection is often very limited. So if you are looking for a good bargain, I would recommend to buy pre-loved instead. Recently, the Bottega pouch bag collection has been really popular. These bags resemble the shape of an oversized vintage coin purse, and I think the design is very simple, minimal and chic. This bag in the size small comes with a shoulder strap, so I think it's a really versatile bag. The size regular used to be just a clutch bag, but now it also comes with a detachable shoulder chain. Because these bags are really trending at the moment, pre-loved prices might not be ideal for potential buyers. But if you're not really into following trends, I would suggest to be patient and wait because many Bottega pieces do drop in price on the second-hand market. Celine is another fantastic brand to buy pre-loved because you really stand a good chance of getting something at a good discount. When I was trying to sell my Celine Nano, which by the way was in a brand new condition, I approached quite a few consignment websites, and on every occasion I was told the selling price would be quite disappointing. Eventually, I sold the bag at about half the price of what I paid for. This is however good news for those of you who are looking to buy Celine pre-loved. In fact, I've come across a few people on my channel that said they got second-hand Celine handbags at amazing prices. Personally, I'm not very excited about Celine's current collections, but I absolutely love the many designs when Phoebe Philo was the creative director, such as the Celine box bags and the Celine luggage totes. These bags are still available on their website, but if you're looking for a good bargain, make sure to look at the pre-loved market as well. There you have it. Those are the luxury handbag brands I think are worth looking into on the pre-loved market. Again, I think the key of buying pre-loved is to do a ton of research and buy from a reliable source. Most of the brands I mentioned today are available on SunLab, so make sure to check them out. I would also love to know what's the one thing you wish you bought pre-loved, so make sure to let me know down below. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Have a nice day.